Drax,
Okay.
can you see the other couches or not?
Okay, we're live.
I think Drax just went live.
Well, that went smooth. Okay, let's see here. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me on the YouTube
Yep, we
stream?
can.
Oh, people can hear
Yes.
me in world. We don't see. There's people off screen. They're talking, so they're real. So this is Draxtor. Hello and welcome to the Drax Files Radio Hour without Joe Yardley again because Joe doesn't want to follow us. And actually, you see me on the stream now. You also see me in real life. On the left corner, and we will see these people behind the screen in the virtual world who just said that they can hear me because these are my guests. But before we do that, I just want to clarify that we're not in Second Life, we're not in High Fidelity, we're not in what's this other thing, VR chat, where the little racist misogynists hang out, and then Sansar, where everything is a museum where you can't do anything other than standing around like a chat room of sorts. I'm being very facetious today, but we're in SineSpace, and you guys know Adam Frisbee if you listen to the show, and here he is. Hi, Adam.
Hello.
Adam's been working till the very last minute, and I really appreciate it, and I apologize for getting nervous. That's my job, of getting nervous in a virtual world. Come a little bit closer, please, Adam. I'm trying to put this, and here's a person between Adam and me, and her name is what's her name? She looks so different. Her name is Strawberry Singh. She's in every world now. Hi, Strawberry.
Hello.
Strawberry, you're breaking up a little bit, but it's okay. Is this your first time in
I'm stalking you everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, so first things first. Adam, let's build a little semicircle here. I'm still getting used to the camera controls here, which are, by the way, actually really cool. So Adam, if you stand maybe to the right of Strawberry, or that's good, and then face. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so we're in space. You've been on the show many times before. No, Strawberry ran away. What is new with space? What were you working on now? I mean, we were working up to the last minute here with voice, and you guys made me a new avatar. What happened just now? If you give people who are watching this a little bit behind the scenes panic attacks. What did you just do? You rebuilt the whole region and you switched over voice?
Yep. So we did all those things, except unfortunately we haven't switched over the voice, but the old one's still.
We just basically updated the visuals as well, so you've got some new volumetric lights behind you, a couple of little fancy bits and pieces for you. Another thing we've got is this new facial tracking thing, which I see you are using. I don't know if you can see
Me using it?
Yeah, I'm using it. It's working actually really well. But you were in chipmunk territory again. I'm sorry. The voice.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'll hold off on that one.
So, but so what's the status of SineSpace right now? I mean, were you able to switch this over to the voice server, or what were the technical challenges just now?
So I just basically have been uploading the new region. Unfortunately, the technical challenges is my awful internet connection. A very, very slow connection. So the upload was actually taking a long period of time.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I think we have to. Strawberry. Let me switch this over to you, and let's do one more thing. But I think we have to. I think we have to end this broadcast. I'm sorry to say, because the voice is not. It's not good. It's not going to translate well to the radio. At least here we have some visuals, but
it's over if you want to.
It's not.
Well, he
work.
said he can flip us over, right?
Yeah, but
over. It'll take me just a minute.
Okay, I can't hear him. Strawberry, how do you?
He said give him a minute, Drax. He's everywhere. I think you were asking me if this is the first time I've been in SineSpace.
I think that's what I asked you. I don't remember.
Yeah, this is actually the first week. I signed in a couple of days ago and just kind of updated my avatar and so forth. But I'm still kind of getting used to the controls and all that. It's the control. And what I like is they already had like poses and so forth built in when you're trying to take a picture. So you can like have different poses. You can also have different backgrounds, and you can add different layers and so forth. It's like Instagram kind of filters and so forth to your pictures.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm gonna do this. I don't know if it's possible. I'm gonna quit this stream here because this is not gonna work for the Sunday show. Adam, you can ping me if you want to retry this. But we have only the hour. I gotta do a hard stop at the top of the hour. This facial tracking is working really well. And also, I was advertising, quote unquote, Mr. Hamlet Wagner James Au, who I sometimes jokingly call my nemesis, from the journalism field, and I think he's not showing up. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just spoke with him a second ago.
Yeah. Well, you know, if that makes me sound like an old curmudgeon, I don't like, as a radio fan myself, frankly, a show that doesn't necessarily deliver what it promises. So I have my listeners and my fans to kind of answer for, and I don't think
Your break, Drax.
They enjoy that. So I'm gonna quit here, and then we'll see. Sorry, folks. I'm gonna listen to a tune and check in 5-10 minutes, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm gonna switch over, and folks on YouTube, thanks for watching. Sorry about that. I'll put some music on. And throw up the title. Still with you.
Brother, my companion, tell me what you like to play when you were young. Brother, my companion, talk about the things that we have left undone. In your life you have seen our people getting mean, and you run far from the crowd. There was never any doubt when life was running out. Peace was never allowed. Wherever you are, they're still with you. Wherever you are, they're still with you. Wherever you are, wherever you are, wherever you Brother, my companion, following the footsteps that you laid for me. Brother, my companion, you always had the lessons learned from history. In your life you have seen a nation who has been sent away and driven from their land. What can we do now? The justice will allow, 'cause they're still singing aloud. Wherever you are, they're still with you. Wherever you are, they're still with you. Wherever you are, 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 wherever you are.
Every once in a while, the world is beige and plastic looking. I wonder if you noticed it too. And every time this happens, I leave my desk. I go out to the edge of the lake, throw a stone, make some waves. Tonight I go out on a date with myself. I buy some flowers too to make it good. I kiss myself on the cheek, no surprises there. And when the last bar closes, I get the check. Every other month or so, the moon doesn't shine as bright as it could. That's when I board my little homemade plane. It's made of paper mache, and I worked on it all day. I fly right up and I talk to the guy, cheer him up, and we're drinking from paper cups. Tonight I go out on a date with myself. I buy some flowers too to make it good. I kiss myself on the cheek, no surprises there. And when the last part closes, I get the check. to make it good. I kiss myself on the cheek, no surprises there. And when the last part closes, I get the check.
All right, guys, I think it's looking pretty good. I can't promise anything, but we're logging back in while we're still on the interstitial image and some music in the background. So let me check. It's loading. It's loading. It's loading. Thanks for sticking around. Mr. Hamlet Wagner James Au from New World notes is not latest info is that he's not present. So keep those questions coming. Dianya, I hope I don't mispronounce her name, is throwing some good stuff out there. Why do all game developers assume that faster and more advanced is always better? Mr. Au did agree, actually. That was the premise where I was told that he would show up. That's why I actually booked this. Otherwise, I would have done a different show. So, yeah. Again, I mean, I used to do small market public radio stations, and that's the same thing. There's an anxiety that when you're 20 feels kind of good, makes you feel alive. But when you're 46, you don't need that. I mean, I don't. All right, here we go. Cool. Actually, Daisy Gator is with us also. Great. So looking down here, and I wonder. So joining the Vox voice channel. It's going kind of slow. It's going. Cool. Alright, I'm trying to walk down, and you guys on YouTube still see the interstitial image.
Yes, but you don't need to press the Alt button anymore, Drax.
Yeah.
What?
Just turn voice on and talk.
I hear a gecko talking. It's gecko talking here.
Feedback. You guys don't hear any feedback from me, do
Okay,
you?
cool. I heard a gecko.
There we
There
go.
you are, Drax. Yes, you heard the gecko. I hear you, Drax.
Jesus Christ, the gecko is also stalking me. Strawberry, the gecko, I can't take it anymore. Okay, I would say since our I'm gonna switch over to the stream in a second. We have the image, the placeholding image right now.
Should we start from the top?
Yeah, we can start clean from the top, and since Mr. Au is a no-show, I'm not gonna mention him. But what I would
He's actually on his way, apparently.
Okay.
He may show up.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna bother Mel. I would like Mel to join us in the circle here, and then Charlie, you can throw it. Dave, you can throw it in from the audience. But
Yep.
Mel, if you could come up here because we haven't talked in a long time. All right, so I'm gonna change this to a proper introduction.
Do I have my voice on?
Sound
Can you hear
good?
me?
Yes, you got your voice on. You actually don't
Yes.
need to
Oh, okay. No radio waves, so I was confused. Right.
No
You don't have
radio.
to hold the right alt,
And-
by the way.
And I love the crouch thing every time I
Radio. Mel, put on your radio voice. Hello there. No, okay, so we're on. Let me do an introduction here. Hello there, and welcome to the Drax Files Radio Hour without Joe Yardley. My name is Draxtor Despres, and I'm here with Strawberry Singh, who you should know because, well, she's stalking me in VR chat and all these other worlds. And and Adam, you should know.
Hello.
Adam Frisbee.
Hello.
Adam is you're the CEO, and are you also the CTO?
Yeah, I think I take all hats.
I think so. we're in SineSpace right now, and also joining us on the stage is Mel Burns. Mel Burns, why are you cowering like
He's
this?
bowing.
Yeah, every time I speak, I do this wonderful sort of crouch. Don't ask me why. It seems to be an affliction that I've obtained whenever I come to SineSpace. But hi, Drax. Hi, all. We've been here before, so yeah, good to be here again.
Yeah, and I hear a few different sounds that are in it, and not all the time, but a little few pings here or there. Is that normal?
Oh, that may be used as logging in. If you open the blue gear in the bottom right, you can turn off interface sounds. Probably for the best.
Okay, blue gear here, and I put what do I bring down?
It should be user interface volume, UI volume. It's under audio.
Got it. Okay, I'll just turn it off, and now my client makes weird things. Okay, it's off. Okay, cool. And I want to bring up the face tracking. So while I'm doing this, Adam, tell us what's new in SineSpace and mention the face thingy that I'm going to bring up.
Well, if you look at my avatar, you will see I've actually been pulling funny faces for the last couple of minutes. This is actually a new thing that's coming out very soon. That we have facial tracking. So if you've got a cheap webcam or you've got a laptop with a webcam, we can actually translate it to your avatar. And even if you like bob side to side on your avatar, you'll actually see that your head and things will all translate with your avatar. Your mouth will open, your eyes will wiggle.
That is pretty
I don't know if you've got my camera on you or not, but you can sort of see some of this cool stuff. This is one of the cool new features we've got coming out. The other cool new features, and you're on our preview viewers, you are seeing them, is that we've got new high-resolution avatars. We've actually upgraded the poly count on all our avatars rather significantly. We have new animations for things like flight. We have lots of little improvements under the hood. We have a whole bunch of more improvements coming down the pipe in the next sort of month or two. We've got a new user interface coming down. We'll be sort of streamlining a few of things. That should be coming down sort of sometime in March. You'll start seeing early previews of that one. We have lots of other bits and pieces we've added since the last time you were here. I actually can't remember when was the last time you were here because we've added quite a lot since then.
Right.
Last release, we added parceling, so you can now divide up a region and share it with your friends. So there's lots of bits and pieces that have come along.
Okay, awesome. And I've been looking at you a little bit, and then I've been looking at myself, seeing if the face tracking and the head bobbing works. Now all the all the improvements that you have, but Mel is Mel Burns from the Metaverse Broadcasting Company, and every second lifer knows Mel Burns. He's still crouching. So that's not an improvement, if I may be so blunt.
I think he's doing it on purpose.
Oh, I see.
I have that.
No, Adam, you just did it yourself when you.
Yeah, well, I know. I was doing it on purpose too.
Oh. Well, I'm not. Go figure.
Okay. What about your control keys? Your control key jammed down. It's control, and it moved just to C recently. We swapped the key around.
One of the
No, it's when I press the alt right key, but we won't go.
Oh, you don't need to do that anymore. We've switched over to Vivox here.
It's called
right
alt. It's not the alt right. This is not a neo-fascist organization.
I suddenly realised that was going to come into it.
We're laughing because
without the key.
Yeah, I hear you.
We can still hear you without it.
What's funny is that we had a toggle to talk, and we needed to press the alt key, which is on the right of the keyboard, not on the left. And then you guys were in text. You were like, "Oh, press the right alt key," and I said, "What the alt right key? Does that summon a Richard Spencer or some other douchebag?" No. So I have a whole bunch of questions here actually in the YouTube chat, and we can throw this out there. But before we do that, I want to ask Strawberry. You're also hopping back and forth through these different worlds. Can you say what you like about space, or SineSpace rather, so far? What do you like about it?
This is actually my second time logging on. You can hear me, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Okay, great. This is my second time logging on. The first time I was just changing my avatar and trying to get used to the UI. One thing I really liked was the snapshot button. I just decided to take a picture, and in there were so many options of pose. They've given you all these free poses that you can pose yourself into. They also have Instagram style filters you can put on top of the picture, and like all different kinds of options just in the snapshot button alone. So that was fun. I spent like 20 minutes just playing with with all the options and checking them out and doing funny poses. So I really like that. I like the avatars too. And you can change it up, and I haven't put any money in it yet. I got some sort of S dollars. I don't know what they are.
I got 30,000 something dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what I have.
Use silver. So we actually, I can tell you a little bit about that. We've split our currencies around the place. So we've got two currencies. We've got the gold, and that's your real currency. That's the one that you can cash out to USD. And then you got your silver. And the idea of the silver is that people want to make freebies, but they don't want to sort of devalue what the effort they've gone into them. You can put them up for silver. And you can get silver by being friends with people. You can get silver from hanging around in world. You can get silver from collecting objects around the place that we've scattered in various places. Basically, they're sort of a gamified one that will give you sort of, you can make, actually you can, if you're building games in the platform, you can come talk to us and we'll let you give away silver through your games. And it lets you do sort of a social sort of play currency that's not sort of tied to the requirements that the full gold currency has.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, so I had some silvers, so I went into the store and I bought all this outfit and skin, and some stuff was free. Sometimes some stuff I use my silver for. Some stuff I couldn't buy because I needed to have gold, and I don't have that yet. So
I deal with the green. I deal with the green. I don't. No, I mean, this is funny because Strawberry. I'm not gonna. We always play this little banter back and forth, and it's getting a little bit old. But of course, I go like, "Oh my God, Strawberry comes in, and then it's all about shopping again." Oh my God.
Well, sorry. That's what I like.
So
that's the first thing I do. Okay, how do I fix my avatar? First thing.
So let me throw this.
Hamlet's here.
Let me throw this to. Cool. Let me throw this to See, I'm running away right here. Did you just see this?
Where have you gone, Drax?
I have gone. I have gone rogue. I have gone rogue.
You've gone AWOL from your own show.
Oh my God. Listen, real quick, Adam. The fly cam is F4, but I pressed the fly cam and I'm still not flying around.
So the fly cam will reset if you sort of move any movement keys. You can tap it twice and it'll lock on, and when it's tapped on, then like that, it won't.
But if I press F4, how do I freely move around the room?
So you just hold down the right mouse button, and then all your movement keys will translate to your camera. So we use the right mouse button for almost all the camera movement.
So I have to keep the right mouse button pressed if I'm in fly cam mode. Huh?
Yeah.
I got it. Awesome. Wow, this is pretty cool. Okay, I gotta say, this is cool. Okay, now, crouching Mel, hidden burns. Let me ask you.
The controls are pretty cool.
He's crouching here. Mel, what do you think is good about this world? I mean, in addition to that, you're always in the crouched position.
Well, I'm not. I don't think I'm crouching right now because I'm told I don't need to press a button anymore. You can still hear me, I take it.
Tap it once, just out of curiosity.
The alt key. The other key. There you go.
For some reason, there's something wrong. Maybe it's the avatar you're using. I don't know.
All right, but
yeah,
be that.
Funny.
But be that as it may.
What I was wondering.
Be that as it may, let me ask you, Mel, because this is an age-old question, and we've been here before, and I love to ask this question, because we are not we're not the norm in the sense that we can put up with a fair amount of stuff that doesn't work, and we still kind of see that there's potential in there. Arguably, the reason why Second Life did not grow. There's many reasons, but let's just say that one was performance. And in our busy world, I really don't think that anybody other than us crazy folks is going to put up with performance. And I don't want to pin this on space here right now, because this is across the board. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
What do you think, Mel? I mean, you know, this been a long road, and sometimes I could make the argument that we haven't gotten very far in terms of making it easy.
I think you're right. I mean, obviously things like processor technology, graphics cards, and all this sort of whiz-bang technology you kind of need, not to even mention the helmet jobs. You know, that has improved, but, you know, it is all about content. And for the average person, you know, I certainly know people in the whatever you call it, the organic space, who I've said, oh, come in and look at this, and they come in, oh, that's pretty and whatever, and they see the avatars and they think, oh, it's a bit cartoony. It's like being in a cartoon, and often they actually get scared off the moment they realize that there's somebody driving the avatars. You know, they think, oh, I'm in a cartoon, but when a stranger speaks to them, they think, oh, help, get me out of here. Who put me in the middle of this crowd? You know, in the focus. I don't really know.
That's a really good point. That actually, I think it applies to VR in a certain sense even worse, because in VR you have much less mediation. You're just in there. We talk about this often on the podcast. But I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off. We can take it where you will, but I want to ask specifically about the performance, because that the hang up in a free open virtual world just like this one or others is that they are not as stable as games where the game designer can you know, it's limited, right?
You know, yeah, I mean, you know, I'm based not in Second Life these days, but on the on OpenSim, or more importantly, as I call it, the hypergrid, because it means I've got thousands of grids I can hop to from my own desktop instead of just one grid to belong to. So Second Life, SineSpace, even SineSpace here, High Fidelity, they're all places I have to quit my main viewer to go to, because well, I can talk about there is limited interoperability in fields, but it's kind of awkward. But the thing is, you're very right in saying on the performance and quick and easy thing. It seems to me that every new platform that comes again, there are some major things here in SineSpace that are great, but other things that seem very awkward to even me, because I'm so used to the you know, the way of doing things in on the hypergrid, the same way you.
I want us to really be critical and self-critical. Is anybody, after a 10-hour workday or whatnot, willing to put up with stuff that doesn't work out of the box? I mean, people go into rage quits when their Facebook page doesn't load. All right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about.
Well, you know, I mean, I have to say, my feeling is no. You know, it's like 3D TV comes along, and there probably weren't too many glitches in that, but who wants to come home and sit on the couch and put a blasted helmet on? It's not the thing that normal people do any more than the Oculus and the Vives and stuff now. Sure, gamers want their PlayStation headsets and stuff like that, but they are a niche. You know, the average person is more than happy to set up a flat screen TV. And to be honest, I'm more than happy to come in here and every other virtual world with a flat screen monitor. I'm fussy about the monitor, but I don't need. I think the other thing is our human nature, right? I know that, although it may sound contradictory for a kind of, you know, a metaverse sort of evangelist kind of person like me, I don't like full immersion. And I think other people, this is something that other people are aware of, whether they know it or not.
Yep.
And that is, you know, if I've got headphones on for a long time, I feel the urge to take them off because I'm not really hearing the world around me when I'm listening to music. And when you're talking about surround vision and everything else that goes with off, you know, I kind of still want this pipeline to reality. You know, it's like I've got to keep a channel open to reality, and it seems that more and more we're talking about technology that's going to allow us to fully immerse ourselves and not know whether we're in the real world or in a virtual world. But really, do we want that? I think we want the opportunities that 3D spaces open up for us for collaboration, interaction, and stuff. But I don't know that human beings really want to be trapped in that enclosure to that extent. And I think you're right. You know, when you asked me the question, I said my answer has really to be no. I mean, that is not to disparage the uses that virtual worlds have. You know, that's a separate approach. You know, the utility that they can provide.
It's also humorous, like watching him crouch.
Right, Mel. Mel, let me jump in here. Mel, this is wonderful food for thought, and I think I agree, because you're really focusing on the fact that maybe not everybody wants to be completely sort of what they call fully immersed. My question was, and you maybe I wasn't clear, but I'm glad that you answered it specific to headset related virtual worlds. My question was rather more broadly speaking about virtual worlds as a whole, including SineSpace, where it's really cool how far you guys got, Adam, but where it's not working 100%, like the
yes,
you know, that's what I mean. Like, Adam, maybe you want to jump in here. Just imagine the person who is already, like I said, I mean, the person who gets who hammers on his keyboard when the Facebook page takes 10 seconds too long to load, right?
Yeah, this is always the trouble, that it actually takes a lot of those people banging on your door to actually get a lot of these things fixed. To give you an example, we've started sort of pulling in quite a lot of end users lately. The last sort of 8 weeks now, six to 8 weeks, we've had sort of 20% growth in the number of users visiting every single week. So sort of every 3 weeks we're doubling in size. The community, and that's really great to see, but at the same time we're also getting a lot more reports from things like this isn't working, that isn't working, and some of them are a bit more unusual, but there's so many sort of moving parts in a virtual world that makes it an intrinsically difficult platform to build, and that's why you see this every single virtual world. It's because you've got so much stuff that can happen. You've got everyone can load an item in, everyone can load various bits and pieces into the world, and by the proxy of doing so, you sort of encounter so many weird little glitches and problems and all sorts of things. So it's a hard one, because what we want is the mass market virtual world. We want the one that's as easy to use as browsing to a website, and everything sort of just works.
And I gotta say, I gotta say, you guys are. I mean, this thing is really. Oops, sorry. Now I think I lost the fly cam. Here we go. This one works really well, and it's really smooth, and you have a lot of really cool environments, and you're not banking on VR, which I think is smart. We talked about that before, but you hit the nail on the head. So basically, are you saying that the nature of this type of category, I mean, is just inherently challenging, and possibly, I mean, is then the logical conclusion that it's always a niche? I mean, I guess I have to ask this question a million times.
No. I don't think so. I think that, and this is actually I had an interesting conversation the other day with someone about this. Virtual worlds are rather sort of interesting and unique. Well, actually, hang on one second. I'll go back a step. The first question was sort of if it's always going to be the case. And I would say you look at the early web browsers that came out. Now, virtual worlds have been around for a bit longer than the early web browsers were around, but they're also fundamentally a lot more complicated. The early web browsers sucked. Every single one of them. They crashed. They didn't load content right. You'd have to pick the right browser to actually view things correctly. The days before, around sort of IE6, they were terrible. There was all sorts of problems with those browsers. I think we're still in that stage with virtual worlds at the moment, that we're still in that sort of early days Wild West scenario, and they're getting better. I think we are now in sort of that IE6 generation, where the current generation are improving a lot over their predecessors. But there is still more to be done there. Now the angle of whether it's a niche or not, that's a bigger question. And I think the answer is no, because frankly, there's so much 3D immersive content that it's great to see. people right now access that content by going into, say, Steam. They open up a game, they're hopping into another 3D environment. They sort of have to go through that sort of 2D path to get there and actually going into those environments. And there's no reason why we can't do that. So sure, some of that stuff is incredibly complicated. The internals of a modern game engine are pushing the limits of the hardware in ways that would be very difficult to enable in a virtual world browser universally, but it's not impossible. Difficult is just an unsolved problem.
So,
I
have to say, sorry, I gotta cut you off, Mel, because I want to bring Strawberry in next. And I, I have to admit, of course, my question was loaded in the sense that I'm assuming that the issues that there's always going to be slight issues, and that is the main reason that hinders its growth. I mean, this is a complex question. I wish that Mr. Au from New World Notes, who told us that
he's actually over there now.
Where is he?
He's here.
Wonderful.
He's sitting there.
Oh, well, Hamlet, come up on stage.
Why can he sit and we have to stand, and he has to crouch over here? I mean, what's...
I think we can sit now.
It's a 2-class system.
Can we sit?
It's a 3-class system.
I think so, but let's leave it alone for the moment.
Okay.
So then please Hamlet, come on the stage, and I'm going a little bit... So before Hamlet comes on...
So the voice chat's the little green icon in the lower right.
Crapper. Oh boy, that's going to be an...
You post recently likening the trailers for Ready Player One and things to Second Life in particular.
Oh yeah.
And going back to the period of things like Avatar movie and stuff like that, people think, well, would this turn people on? But I actually do, in the back of my mind, wonder if the Spielberg movie, along with the daydream generation of phone users, with the cheaper headsets, something might resonate there, because ultimately, even the most fastest, easiest to use platform you can possibly devise, which, a simpleton can use, might not sort of have the charisma to be of interest to a great deal of people. But
that's an awesome point.
If something comes into the common perception, like a really big Spielberg movie does, then it might subliminally be making people think, well, this is here already, or rather, is it here already? Or what can I do?
Mel, this is an awesome point, and along those lines,
I should be able to talk.
Yep.
Oh.
Hey, Hamlet. Yeah, we hear you fine. We hear you fine.
How's it going?
Give me a sec to throw something in there, and then I'll properly introduce you. Mel, what you just said, Dianya Shemp on the YouTube stream actually asked this question earlier when we had technical difficulties. She said, why do all game developers assume that faster and more advanced is always better? And that kind of flows into what I kind of, asked Adam, kind of assuming that the reason why it's not growing is because of technical difficulties. Mel, you're saying that Ready Player One and that kind of scenario that it sort of provides may entice people. I would caution, because that reminds me of the CSI thing with Second Life. I'm sure Hamlet remembers.
Yeah.
So Hamlet, please join us in this sort of semicircle, if you will, please. And
let me move back.
Hamlet.
I'm gonna move back a little.
Hamlet Au is, of course, the proprietor of New World Notes, and he's joining us now in SineSpace. And I'm practicing to get another gig as a sports announcer, so I gotta.
Oh, he sat down.
Yeah, he's stolen your chair.
Oh my God! He just sat down.
I clicked on Strawberry, and then I clicked on the chair, and as you say, this is my
Strawberry. That's uncalled for.
No, that one's fine. That's
okay.
I'm gonna stay in this crouch.
My friends, my friends, please.
Back to normal.
Please, let's be a little bit disciplined here, because on the radio, crosstalk doesn't really read. Let me bring in Hamlet. So, Hamlet, thanks for joining us. And Mel brought this up about what you recently wrote about Ready Player One, and I want to go in there right now. Do you think that Ready Player One, this whole hype that's happening around the metaverse, will that boost? Because we've seen it before. We've seen it with CSI, the tie-in with Second Life. We've seen it with Avatar. What will it do, in your mind, your estimation, to the virtual world category? If this, assuming the movie's a hit.
Yeah, even if it's not a hit, the marketing campaign is already massive. And like I was mentioning on New World Notes, the campaign is basically marketing virtual worlds in the metaverse category in and of itself. So it's sort of explaining the concept. Really just looking, I posted about the posters, which they're exactly the kind of posters we were creating when I was at Linden Lab to explain this concept, because beyond the gamer category, people were not understanding the idea of having an avatar and then it's associated with yourself. Kind of like what Mal said about, oh, this is a cartoon, and not grasping that. But of course, things have changed quite a bit. But even now, it's still more of a gamer concept. Which, just to back up again a little bit, is that's actually a large category. If you only think about Second Life, it's easy to miss the fact that there is like Minecraft, which is truly massive, and the kids that were raised on Minecraft are, they're starting to get into their teens, late teens, and it's easy to see them being interested in being more looking for a world that's more realistic, that they have more control over, and especially with any client that goes on mobile, so people have more access beyond just being on a laptop. It is, if we say it's a niche, it's a very, very large niche. It's core gamers estimation is about 200, 300 million people, and that's not even counting China. If you count China, then you get into the 500 million range.
Oh, definitely.
So yeah.
But I keep those are good points.
When the movie launches.
It's going to be fascinating, because I always go back and forth, and as enthusiastic as I am, as you know, I think, like what I said earlier, I mean, this is a very specific category. I'm not sure if it's going to explode like that. But I mean, again, VR chat is sort of exploding, and Minecraft is a good point. Tiny little anecdote, Mel. Sorry, I gotta sneak in this tiny little anecdote. I was at a orchestra trip with my son in Vienna. I was sitting around dinner with this young woman. She was 22, and I said, "Yeah, Second Life, and I work with Second Life, and I'll do these little movies and blah blah blah." And she said, "What is Second Life?" And I said, "Well, it's like, you can do this, you can do that, you can build, you can do certain things." And she says, "Oh, that's like Minecraft, but with an economy and more serious people." I go like, "Yeah, yeah," and about 1/10 of the size. But yeah, sorry, you wanted to say
well,
something?
I was actually just going to reiterate what Hamlet said. Because it was in much of what he said, but the difference between those CSI things that sort of say, oh, we'll have a little offshoot in a virtual world that allows people to do this and that, that didn't work, but that is maybe the point. I've read Ready Player One, and Spielberg is a hell of a good director. I think it would be a huge hit, but mostly it's telling people, it's not a gimmick to get you into a virtual world. It's a story into itself. It's telling people what that future could be like, and that may appall some people, or it could entrance others. It's not, it's almost a walking, rather than another show entirely, which just has Second Life added on as a gimmick. This is a movie about the metaverse we are all dreaming of.
You're absolutely right. I didn't mean to suggest that CSI is at the same level. I mean, CSI in hindsight, frankly, I've thought it was a cool idea, but in hindsight, I have to admit that I was completely wrong, and it's pretty clear that it was a really cheesy tie-in, where any sane person could have foreseen that it wouldn't have worked. And if people don't know what we're talking about, 2007, they had a Second Life plot, a CSI episode. There was a murder, and I actually forgot the details, but somebody was murdered.
Yeah, I think the murderer left clues.
Does anybody remember that?
It was called Down the Rabbit Hole. I do remember the episode name. Yeah,
right.
But a lot of people joined Second Life because of it.
It did. It was huge.
Yeah.
Well, but how much huger would Spielberg be?
Yeah, but what does huge mean, and how long did they stick around? Because I recall that they really didn't stick around for a long time. The other thing was that they had a game that was based on the episode, where you then could play detective, and so yeah, I mean, Hamlet, do you remember this as a success, this CSI tie-in? I don't want to dwell on it, but
No, no. Yeah, part of the problem was people went in expecting the game, but even to get to the game mechanics, you had the whole login process and the installation process,
Yeah.
and then moving around, and then the arrival sites in Second Life got spammed by people
Yeah.
trying to get people to go to other places, like go to their nightclub or whatever, and then the search function, people started spamming. They start listing their sites, their locations having the CSI on it, so people would be teleporting to furry porn areas because it's called CSI something.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
CSI
so
furry
CSI
porn.
surprise party celebration. We're doing it.
So basically,
It's
people ruined it
funny.
like always.
Yeah, also, I mean, they did, the mechanics of doing that weren't practical in any sense either, because I gather that what they had to really do was they had to have massive duplicates of the CSI region that they brought up, lots of instances of the same thing to accommodate crowds. And coming back to SineSpace, where we're standing, I mean, one feature of SineSpace, although it's not really evidence yet, but I just mentioned it before, I think, is the idea of sharding, where you could possibly have 1,000 avatars coming to a venue by, having a consistent stage, but sharding the audience areas in fact, in many regions on
We
demand.
actually have some people using that at the moment. Because we've got a whole bunch of people who are also using this for training and sim and stuff, and we've got a couple of them using sharding quite to do sort of single player experiences. There's literally thousands of shards of one region potentially that can go up.
My friends, since I have to quit at the top of the hour, I'm really sorry, but so we have 10 minutes left, and maybe we'll do this again. I want to Strawberry. We talked earlier about our outings into Sansar, and then when we stream it. And by the way, people who see the stream right now, and we're talking about people coming in and blah 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 and this and that, but we still have problems actually standing around coherently in space. And again, Adam, this is not a criticism with you. I'm completely fine with it. I'm just trying to think of, like, if somebody who is into Ready Player One or whatever sees it in the movie theater and goes like, yeah, cool, what's available out there, and comes in here and goes like, well, it's not like the movie. I can envision a scenario where backlash against the virtual worlds category is actually quite severe. But having said that, Strawberry, you said earlier our forays into Sansar, you hear a lot of pretty negative stuff on the YouTube channel along the lines of along what lines? And that comes,
Well, I
and
think
it's
the
interesting
people-
because that comes from the Second Life enthusiasts, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so the problem, I don't know if it's a problem. I have a majority of the subscribers I have on YouTube are Second Life residents. So what they're used to, or the reason they subscribe to me on YouTube, is they want to see fashion-related videos about Second Life. So when I kind of deviate from that and go into Sansar or VR chat or a different world or talk about something else, they get upset. And for some reason they're really upset about Sansar. I don't know, a lot of them thinks it's like the end of Second Life or something. And every time I stream Sansar or put up a video, it's like always some sort of negative comment, so much negativity, and it gets tiring after a while, because I just want to log in and enjoy myself, because Sansar to me is really beautiful, and I just kind of want to log in and look around and explore.
That's exactly what it is. It's like a museum where you just
out.
look around all this, like a 3D chat room where you look at things, right?
And I want to
That's what they
hang out
say.
with the people that are in Sansar right now, because all of the people in Sansar are like mature, talented creators making stuff, just probably like SineSpace as well, and all the people that are, all the places that are being developed right now, all the VR worlds, aside from VR chat.
And I want to
we ran into some nice people in VR chat.
This is what I want to throw
but-
to Hamlet, because it's unfortunate we're running out of time. We really got to do this again. Hamlet, what Strawberry is saying, I mean, I think this is nothing unexpected that Second Lifers have some anxiety about other worlds that is kind of destroying Second Life. But what is your take on this, and also expand it to, VR chat, because Strawberry and I were in VR chat, and it was a mixed bag. A lot of my friends say, I'm not going to go there. It's just racist, 100%. and others say, well, it's kind of like Second Life. Depends where you go. What do you think about the current smorgasbord of these worlds? What is their profile? Do they have already distinct profiles that it's maybe hard to get away from? Take it where you will.
I think it's still too early days to say there's any one profile, because VR chat, it is a hit among the social VR category, but it's still, the user base is still pretty small. It's like probably about 20, 30,000 daily active users, which, as you know, Second Life is more like 200, 300,000 daily active users, and then, but 600,000
I heard that's it.
a month. So
I gather it's sort of flatlined. It's not shrinking, but it's not growing either. It's
going down,
like,
and
yeah,
it's sort of stabilized, but it's always going to be a slow downward arc. I'm kind of hoping they do deploy to the Amazon cloud like they've been talking, and get a performance boost that gets people interested. But anyway, yeah, thinking of the larger category, I just think there's going to be a lot of more growth, especially with anything that can be cross-platform in terms of like going on mobile, going on PC, and so we're going to see a lot of activity there. And I actually forget the question.
The question is, what do you think about these categories? The fight between Second Lifers and Sansa, their Sansa anxiety. That's something.
Right.
That's kind of to be expected to some extent, I guess.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a convergence of people seeing that it's quite easy to jump from one platform to the next. I posted some data from some folks I know at Linden Lab that when people log into Second Life, 75% of them just stay where they are. So they're like doing fashion, they're hanging out in their area. So really, it's just a single extra leap to just log into another client because your friends are in another platform. So especially that Second Life's moved away from the prim-based thing, and it's all mesh, and so then it becomes if you're a developer and you can bring your mesh from Second Life and add it to other worlds, then people might want to see what it looks like in a new world. I think we'll see some movement into Sansar because of that. If Linden Lab does a good job getting brands to move over, and I think other worlds like SineSpace could see the same kind of movement. It's like, hey, you remember me in Second Life? Why don't you come check out what all my brand items look like in SineSpace? So I think we're going to see a lot of that kind of movement too.
I think you put we're running out of time, I know, Drax, but
no, go ahead.
I think there's a thing about community here too. Well, we notice this in Open Simulator. A lot of people start up their own grids and maybe only have, a few hundred users. But very often they'll have started because an entire community that started in somewhere like Second Life has just decided to move because cheaper, and they're not worried about being on their own because all their friends move with them. The community moves, as it were. My partner is always talking about the old days of chat rooms on the web where they went to what was the max? Well, forget it. From the chat rooms gradually moved into immersive chat rooms and virtual worlds. So I think there are a lot of instances where communities move. Whereas an individual won't necessarily make the jump. They feel at home with their tribe in the world they're in, but if their tribe moves, they move. Yeah.
So there's more fragmentation. That's interesting. I mean, it is very fragmented already, and I'm going back to that same point. I just don't see the traction. I really don't see any traction. High Fidelity's been around for how long? 4 years?
4 years, I think.
Yeah.
How many more decades in beta is it going to be? I mean,
well,
it's still pitched.
James?
That's a whole VR VR hardware adoption problem. It just it is such a small user base of people who actually own the equipment to go into high fidelity.
Yeah, but arguably, but high fidelity works in desktop. It's not great, but you could interact. I mean, you know, you can do stuff. You can sit down.
High fidelity and is really hard.
When I'm in high
so
fidelity, yeah, when I'm in high fidelity, I only use it on the desktop. I'm not really into wearing the headset contraptions. So the closest I got was using Leap Motion, and it had a funny effect. But the thing is, I'm conscious of the people around me, as we all are in virtual spaces. And I'm conscious of the fact that all the people in there seem to be in headsets and goodness knows what else they got strapped to their bodies. So I didn't really feel connected. It wasn't the fact that I couldn't go into
right, because you feel like I mean, it's like a two class system in a way, right? I mean, you're not connected to them. Yeah.
Yeah, all the devs, all the users are the little clique that wear these headsets, and I'm afraid they're not the average user. It comes back to your original question, you know, about coming home and putting the headset on. I don't think so.
No, and exactly. Yeah, go ahead.
VR chat got going. Largely because a bunch of YouTube gamers and Twitch gamers got into it because they realized they could upload kind of game avatars from Dragon Ball Z or whatever, and so that gave the large percentage of gamers a something they could grasp, something tangible, because they're not going to get kind of this metaverse sort of marketing messaging. They're going to get, oh look, I can be the Simpsons. Like I blogged a video a few days ago where a guy recreated a Simpsons episode in high fidelity using the full rig, and that I think actually the video has gone viral, fairly viral, because people can kind of grasp their hands around it, like, oh, I can play like I'm Homer Simpson. So,
no, I saw that. That is, I'll link it on the blog too, because that is. I mean, I was impressed. I mean, this is a kind of a level of fan obsession which I can appreciate. And it's well done.
So you need a pop cult reference, and then you go, oh, and I can also get in. I don't need the VR thing. I can just log in with the VR chat has a Steam client, so you can just jump right in, and there's wacky crap going on immediately. So yeah.
All right. So basically,
so it's not a bunch of a-holes. Apparently.
But basically, it's all about fast, easy fun. I don't know. I remember that 2008. M. Linden, Strawberry. You were saying like high fidelity's hard in desktop. You tried that. It's weird.
Yeah. I thought VR chat was easier than high fidelity in desktop, and I think this SineSpace is really good in desktop.
I have
compared to all the VR worlds. Then.
Oh,
the controls are great.
And just because you said that, like Adam was instantly transferring you, I don't know how many gold. How many gold do you have?
Yeah, look, as much as you want.
Oh, look at that.
No, like I'm loving the controls, and I know you have to end it soon, but I think we should come back and let Adam show us around a little bit next time.
Yeah,
too. I might stream it, and I might stream it to Twitch when we do that, just to
Right, because this is not a 3D chat room. This is more than a 3D chat room. Or maybe is everything just a 3D chat room? I don't know anymore. I don't know where I stand.
3D chat room with toys.
Right.
I had a question, Adam. I know you said you have events and parties and stuff that go on here. How can we keep up to date with that if we want to attend one of the events or party things?
Okay, so we've got an event calendar. It's actually on the login screen, but I can give you guys a direct link to it. We've actually got a Google Calendar as well that sort of mirrors it.
Oh,
we've got about 15 or so events a week at the moment that are on the regular calendar, and then there's a whole bunch of extra top.
I see in the audience. Oh, actually, she left. I saw Shyla the Super Gecko in the audience earlier.
Yes, I saw her a second ago as well.
No, she probably left. Shyla has some good thoughts for the disabled community, or from that vantage point, which but she was on a full hour show a few weeks ago. She's really fantastic, very eloquent on the issue. Okay, so let's do a last round. Let's go over a little bit, and I'll last round here. Now, Hamlet, I mean, you stated this really well, but I have to press you again, just sort of in a boxing match type thing. If we look at Sansar, high fidelity, and VRChat, just from what the information you have now, your sense of if only one survives, which one survives and why?
Well, right now, looking at the numbers, VR chat has the lead. I've heard some rumors about content coming into Sansar that should be really big. Uh, so that'll basically establish whether it works or not. Like if we see some really big brands come to Sansar, and the rumors are that will happen very soon, and we don't see traction, then it's basically going to be given over to VR chat.
Mm-hmm.
Unless Philip kind of throws a high five or a high five, a Hail Mary, and
He
really
should
tries
rename it as a
to-
high five. He should rename high five to high five.
a Hail Mary high five to really make it consumer friendly. He's so focused on the VR aspect that's going to be a challenge. I mean, it could be they have a burn rate where they'll say, well, we'll just wait for enough people to buy the VR rigs, and they will grow slowly but surely.
Mm-hmm.
But really, it's basically VR chat's game to lose right now. They're so far ahead. They really just have to improve the community tools, and they're adding some development tools for average users. So that's actually gonna grow them a lot more quite soon. So
Okay, but
for
the thing
VR
is,
centric worlds, yeah.
but with the and I'm sorry, Adam, I didn't throw SineSpace in there, and that's not out of disrespect. I'm just curious about. No. I mean, like I said, I mean, my hat is off to you for this incredibly hard work and the consistency and what is here. But I'm curious about Hamlet's position on, and here's my follow up: why is it so relevant that the brands come in and succeed? Why do you think that is the thing that pushes Sansar over the top? And then related question is, why wouldn't the popularity hurt VR chat because it's so tied to a very negative popularity?
I think you stumped him.
Yeah, that's what I like to do.
Well, the negative popularity didn't really hurt Second Life.
Arguably, it kind of.
I think
That's
it
a
did.
good. That's a good question. Everybody has different opinions on that. Yeah, that's good that you postulate it like that. I would disagree.
There's no such thing as bad. There's no such thing as bad publicity. That's the point.
I think there is.
You can ride on. Well, yeah, but if something
said
is
the Ryanair model?
scandalized or something like that, everybody thinks, "Oh God, I got to check that out."
But
guys,
guys,
Yeah,
is
but
a form. Yeah.
Hamlet says, there's still 300,000 people logging in every day.
I'm not saying that Second Life, my entire body of work is making the point that Second Life is actually a success. So I'm not saying it's a failure. But what I am saying is that these two things are related, because I do believe that and that's why I'm asking Hamlet with the brand, how important is the brand thing? Because, and I want to throw this to Adam, because I would say that it was a bad convergence where Linden Lab relied on brands kind of around the time when the negative stuff got so much traction, and that's not good for brands. Brands don't like that.
No, it's not, and they'll vanish at the drop of a hat.
Right.
The moment you do that. I don't know. I don't think the brands. I mean, look, they're a nice bonus, but I think that you've got to have something compelling underneath.
Yep.
You can't just have something that's completely a branded product. If it's not compelling, it's not compelling.
And when we talk about brands, let me specify, and that's how I understood Hamlet to mention brand, big brands like somebody like the Ready Player One experience in Sansar, for example. That's, I guess, what you meant to mean. But I have to agree with that. I really don't feel that is the defining factor of pushing somebody over the top. I would actually stipulate that it's more important to grow broader with sort of a hardcore fan base. If you rely on brand compatibility, you might turn off a lot of people that may be important to you. But maybe I'm wrong.
Well, the brand gets people in. It gets the main friction is just get them to download the frickin' client and create an account and jump in. And once you get that far, and because of the brand, like say it's a more extended Ready Player One experience, maybe they grow that. you'll get people in for an extra hour or two, and then they're going to go, well, what do I do next? And if Linden Lab does a really good job at the what do I do next, maybe add some game mechanics, some meta game mechanics, like an achievement system, then yeah, then you can see some stickiness. That's kind of that's how Second Life failed, is there was no overarching game mechanics. So people went, okay, well, I can't get to the CSI thing. I don't know what to do. And this game doesn't seem to be much of a game, though it looks like a game. So I give up.
Now
So
we're
what
getting
you
in.
need
Now we're
is
getting into a category where I know that Hamlet and I disagree fundamentally with respect. I have to say that I agree that there is one category of people who is motivated by game mechanics, but I would stipulate there's another group, and I don't have any statistics to back this up, but there's another group.
I do.
I knew it.
I think, we're dealing with something here where the whole history of 3D spaces, virtual worlds, 90% of it anyway, on the hardware, the technology side, it parallels and in fact has evolved from the technology that drove gaming. So you can never dissociate them completely. If you're thinking in terms of what Hamlet referenced, game mechanics, if you're strictly thinking of the mechanics and what the capabilities are that you could be giving the user in an open world that isn't a game, it's still important to consider those mechanics, even though they're not necessarily the quest mechanics of the game.
If it's optional, I have nothing against it. And sorry, I got to throw this in there because with the statistics, I just want to add that I'm completely aware of that this depends on where you want to go, like how big you want to grow. But I would caution against that, because I do believe we live in a completely fragmented universe where I think it's smarter for any company to laser focus on a market rather than trying to be, I don't know, the new can't think of an analogy of of the music industry, or okay, I'm contradicting myself, because blockbusters do still work. So I guess I was trying to make the argument that we live in a world where that doesn't work anymore. But occasionally a blockbuster does work if it's broad enough, if it's mainstream enough. Doesn't appeal to me personally at all, of course. But of course I'm aware that that masses like sort of the middle of the road type stuff. So I don't know. What do I know?
Your last question, you haven't put to me yet, but was about choosing which will be the successful platform. Now I love the hypergrid because of what it is, the fact that it has interoperability, and that's a whole other issue. And it still can you can create it in OpenSim and then import into SineSpace here, possibly even high fidelity if you know the tech. But that aside, we don't know what the future holds, but my personal fear, excuse me for saying this, anybody who's offended by this, is that it will be something like Facebook that comes along and swamps us out with their virtual spaces, or whatever they're calling them. Rudimentary to me at the moment, but I don't want to be in Facebook. If I'm worried about Second Life being a walled corporate garden, then the thought of being in a walled garden is owned by Facebook. Please help save me.
That's a really good point.
You were also mentioning branding. And of course, this is, Facebook doesn't care about its users most of the time, unless it's threatening their income model. The generation. Products, go to Facebook to advertise because they, as you said, it's a fragmented world. They know that Facebook can provide data. That means that you target the individual stream. You don't put an ad in a local newspaper anymore. You put an ad in the stream where the user has interests that you want to advertise to. It's much, much more targeted, and it's targeted across a fragmented world, as you call it. And I actually despair sometimes at what is the seeming fragmentation of our lovely metaverse too. It's almost paralleling what's happening in the greater economy world there.
Well, Facebook, those are good points, but that's exactly what then I would say. If Facebook is really if Facebook ends up dominating the virtual reality in sort of a corporate in a corporate scenario, then I think there's a lot of room for these other worlds where people want to congregate because they don't want to hang out with the IOI. Little Ready
Oh,
Player One reference.
absolutely.
I gotta cut it. You hear violin in the background because now it's time to record some violin. You guys hear that? Oh yeah, it's bleeding through.
We're talking over the outro.
No violence yet.
Okay, well, Hamlet, Adam, Mal, Strawberry, really great. Thank you guys for coming. And I'll put this out
Thanks
on
for doing
the.
this.
We'll do it again. And Strawberry, I'll see you tomorrow in Sansar, where absolutely nothing is happening, and where it's just a corporate playground to be. Okay. Everybody on YouTube, thanks for watching, and goodbye. See you.